The music.
Right there.
Now everybody, listen to me.
Chris is in control today. That's why you're like, what the fuck is going on? You gotta know how to do it too.
I'm gonna be a free man. I'm gonna fight until the end. I'm gonna find the answers, yeah. I'm gonna make it all quite clear.
So yeah,
Who in this world today? We all get betrayed. Just like a better man.
he's got a what?
He's got a brain spine, yeah.
Gonna be a what?
I'm gonna choose the road I'll take. I'm gonna choose the road to stay. I'm gonna fly with the heavens above. I'm gonna be the chosen one, yeah.
There you go. Welcome to the show. I'm Chris. He's Mike. This is the Chris and Mike show, and I'm in charge. So
Good
holy
job, buddy.
shit.
You get a gold star for the day.
Gold star. Gold star. That's interesting that I have all the power.
But I do see now where you can check your own mic level too. You just got to click on people. And
Yes.
You can, yeah. You must have been doing that because I haven't had to say anything in many
I have
episodes.
I have been playing with the things, man. I have been playing for sure.
I'll do a little research, and there has to be a way that we can both be a whatever you have to be that person.
It's a host. I think you can only have one host at a time because if you have two hosts, there's too many hosts in a room, you know.
Oh, too many chiefs?
Too many yattahes. Did you know that Duolingo teaches, what do they call it, endangered language, which includes Navajo?
Really?
Yes.
Which would make sense because in World War II, that's how we encoded our messages, right?
Code talkers. But it's a trip. It's an endangered language now.
Well, I would imagine so.
But why would it be endangered? Don't they still talk? Don't they still use that language in their you know?
Well, when the elusive Tony Palmer comes on the podcast, we'll ask him because he's intimately involved with the Native American culture, being that he is, I don't know,
Native American.
60, 80%, 90%, whatever he is. His mom was 100%.
So why is he only 68 to 90% then?
Well, maybe he's 50. I have no idea. I don't think we ever broached that subject. I just know that he's very involved because he taught me a lot about the difference between the different tribes and the warrior ones and the peaceful ones. And we did a lot of talking outside Guitar Center there.
Oh, right on. Like on smoke breaks and stuff.
Yes, we were both smokers at the time.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna take a smoke, man. Go outside. Let me smoke with me. Let's talk. Instead of just standing there staring at each other like
Well, we discussed on my recovery episode that he was an instrumental part in that he was one of the people that would listen to what was going on at the time. So
while you're smoking.
yeah, cigarettes.
Well, I figured cigarettes, man. You know, you're working. You don't. Back then. So did you see that? Now this is you know, it's not today, but it's today. But I don't really today. But did you see that at least here, the media did this thing? Oh, you know, Trump's hush money thing. The judge has ruled. You know, it's like a little tagline, like, "Oh, click the link because judge."
I saw the headline. Yeah.
Yeah, so judge passes judgment on Trump hush money case, right? And I'm thinking, that's interesting. I wonder what they gave him. Nothing. They refused to pass a sentence. Rightfully so, because they all fucking pay everybody on their way up to shut the fuck up. That's what you call non-disclosure agreements. Every single, you know, huge rock star, huge fucking actor, actress, whatever, any type of person that has power and is littered with money, they have those NDAs, they call them, non-disclosure agreement. So if you want to go, like Prince's song Nikki, right? Darling little Nikki, right?
Yeah.
Remember in the lyric in that song? He had the sign on the bottom line
Yes.
before they went upstairs, and
Yeah. I'm sure you could find that same kind of message in many rap songs as well. I'm not familiar with those, but yeah. If that's part of pop culture, then yeah, you're going to find them there for sure.
Yeah, so it didn't surprise me that nothing happened, and I don't think it would have happened regardless if he got in the office or not. Did you see that little thing at the Jimmy Carter thing, where Harris was like super pissed off? He was having a conversation and sitting next to Obama.
No.
Yeah, dude, you'd think it was like
describe that scene.
Okay, so you have the politicians, right? I was going to say dignitaries, but
Yeah.
I don't know if politicians are dignitaries or not because they don't have any dignity.
No.
Damn it! I could have like totally right there did the. Okay, let's try that again. So I was going to say dignitaries, but I don't think politicians could be actually considered dignitaries because they have no dignity, right?
Right.
That was a little better. That was a little better. So
All right.
you have Trump sitting next to Obama,
Okay.
right? And then Harris sitting next to somebody. I don't know who it is. It's not Biden because
Yeah, it doesn't
last thing Biden did was give Denzel Washington the Congressional Medal of Honor for doing absolutely fucking nothing.
We'll just say another asshole politician.
Right. And so as soon as Harris sits down, she turns back over her left shoulder and looks, and Obama and Trump are engaged in whatever, small talk. And she legit just turns around and kind of does this like you can see in her body language, she's like literally irritated that they're talking to one another. I think what it comes down to is she's
Like little butthurt.
Yeah, but I think what it comes down to is she's just showed that she's a sore loser. Like you lost. Like it's not, and we're not going down the path of right or wrong, who won, but it just you lost. Fucking be graceful. The world is watching. It's not like I don't know if the entire world was watching that ceremony, but the world itself was watching. The proceeding because Carter was a good dude, right? He didn't really do anything. I think he did one. What's he known for? Did he get hostages released or something? I don't remember what he's known for because he was a weird little.
No,
middleman,
that's
right.
That's he was kind of the middleman in that the deal was already made to release him, but part of the deal was it was a Republican controlled House at the time, and I don't know if it's been made like through the Freedom of Information Act that this is public knowledge, but for the most part, it's a rumor, but it's a pretty
substantial rumor.
Yeah, in that the deal was already made to release the hostages, but part of it was they had to get Reagan into office before that happened. So,
really?
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So Carter came in after Ford, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they got taken when under Ford's watch.
And he lived under the highest inflation probably still to this day. I think that, yeah, because that was back when my dad had just bought his second house, I believe, and he was saying that a cheap interest rate was 10%. He was paying like 13%.
Yeah. That was that was early 70s.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, okay, because in the early 70s it was high too. I remember that. But yeah, I heard rumors when I got into real estate because our first house we bought, our first interest rate was 8.375, and that was like, oh, you're fucking styling.
Right.
But a decade before that, they were 12-15%. It was insane.
Yeah, so that was part of the problem in that he only served one term. Is it was record inflation. The gas crisis was under his watch.
Right.
Where they had gas lines and all that bullshit where you could only buy gas if your license plate ended in an odd number on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the even numbers could only buy gas on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, price per gallon, people paid more during that time. So if people are bitching that gas prices are high right now, you actually paid more per gallon back then than any other time in history. I did that research.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the gas crisis time, based on the wages people were earning and the price of gas the way it was, that was the highest price ever in recorded history still.
Damn. Damn.
But he was a very peaceful person. Back to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
You know, he really wanted to do the right thing. I think he was one of the last maybe real politicians that had a good heart. That that's probably another reason he didn't make it very far.
Well, because you can't be good and honest. It
doesn't work in this game.
No. When you look up politician, it doesn't say be good and honest and a nice soul.
It should.
Right?
You know, if you're a representative of your people, you should want to do right by your people, but it doesn't seem like they want to.
No, they don't. It's all about the guacamole and the corruption and the, you know, what can I get? What can I get? I think it was a little bit different back then because you didn't have lobbyists that were so massively in control of everything that happens, right? Because we all know that the president itself, like we've talked about this before, the president is a puppet. He doesn't run the country. He's the face of the country.
Correct.
Right. The Congress and the Senate, and those are the ones that pass the rules and shit. And the president does have veto power and all that kind of jazz. But he's just a figurehead, which, you know, Trump being the figurehead, he's, you know, we've talked about it before. He's a bully. He's an asshole, regardless of if you're for or against him. You can't deny that shit, that the dude just, you're afraid to fuck with the man because he's a loose cannon. So, and
well, here's a good example of how it doesn't work.
Okay.
10 years ago, California still is going through a water crisis, right? Mm-hmm. If you live in California, you're told you can only take so many showers. You can't wash your car. You can't water your lawn. I mean, you guys go through mild versions of that.
Well, not really. We don't. In Arizona, we don't have any restrictions. They try to paint this picture, not to interrupt you, but they're trying to paint this picture that we're in this water crisis. But I actually showed a house not too long ago to a guy who's in, like, he waters his thing, right? Like he knows all. We have so much fucking water, it's ridiculous. But they have to spin that tale because of the longevity of it, right? Like when I was a kid, we were going to the ice age. We weren't global warming. All the aqueducts and shit were full of water because the bottom left page of the inside sports.
Have you seen Lake Mead though?
I have, but they did that just so they can uncover bodies. So, because think about it, Lake Mead's in Laughlin, and Laughlin was the second home to the mob. So all the mobsters have died, right? All of them have died over the years that had any real relevance. So now it's okay. We need to start uncovering why this ground smells so bad and why this water's so foul. So they started lowering the water table so the bodies would float to the top or be exposed, and then they could find them, the government and the police, local police, and that kind of shit. So then they could go turn around and retrieve those bodies and put names to the remains so then they could close all those cases and shit. Once all those bodies are found, mark my words, Mike, they will raise the level of that water and you go back to water skiing, jet skiing, and floating down the Lake Mead on a pontoon boat.
Okay, so at least in California.
Thank you. Live studio audience.
At least in California, we know that we're in like a 20-year drought.
Right.
The Nestle Corporation in 2015 paid $526 for 27 million gallons of water.
Holy shit.
The general public was told that they have to adhere to all these politician-led water safety, you know, we're running out, and they are running out of water. There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, we can spin it however we want. That part of the country has been in a drought for at least 15 to 20 years. Really? And the fact that everything's on fire and they can't put it out proves it right now.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, but, dude, you open that door.
You guys should have monsoons like you had the year that I moved there, like 93, 94, there were monsoons. There were never monsoons like that again in Arizona. Maybe once. Yeah. It's supposed to be like that every year.
Right.
And if that doesn't, they said to fill Lake Mead back up, it would take so many trillion gallons of water. Trillion, not million, not.
Yeah.
These
Not
are
millions,
scientists.
not-
This isn't, I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't conspiracy. This is, they know that they're in a drought. And the fact that one of the richest areas in California just burned to the ground, 60% of the city is gone. You could have put that out
We'll say
if you had some kind of, their water pressure dropped down to nothing. They had to do an evacuation. They had to tell people, the water's not safe anymore because they didn't even have enough pressure to fight the fire.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. In scrolling through the Instagram last night, everything was about California.
Sure.
Everything. So I stumbled across your podcast hero, Joe Rogan. We're going to have a Joe Rogan moment, boys and girls. Okay, you ready? Okay, there you go. I want to make sure you're ready. Joe Rogan. You got to have a Joe Rogan moment to understand, what's going on. He was having he put up a clip, Joe Rogan did, of a conversation he had back in 2019. Okay, just so we understand, today is 2025.
Right.
Okay. This conversation that he was having with someone in 2019, they were discussing the winds and the fires and the fire safety of California, and how this person he was talking to, which you didn't see the person he was talking to, you heard the words, and then they had the captions going on, and it's Joe.
Right.
This guy specifically said, in a perfect storm, which we know just happened,
Sure.
the Palisades would catch on fire. And because all the environmentalists and people like that refuse to clean up the fallen branches and fallen leaves and fallen foliage and shit, because God forbid you displace that one rabbit, it creates the perfect storm to where it's going to go from the Palisades to the ocean, and it's going to destroy everything in its path. Guess what is happening? Because the fucking environmentalists refuse to let people go in and clean. Like in Arizona, man, we have to go up in the north, and you know this from living here. There's scheduled burns up north. Otherwise, the fucking up north would be a barren wasteland. They go and they clean up all the debris and shit. My crazy fucking cat lady neighbor yesterday or the day before raked her entire yard, piles of leaves and pine needles and shit, right? Because we had crazy wind that came from California. And then when the fucking wind came from California, guess where all that shit flew, boys and girls? My driveway. So I got my 216 mile an hour hurricane leaf blower, and I put it all back yesterday.
So,
Yes, go ahead.
I agree with everything you said, and I heard that. I remember that show.
Yeah, okay. Right on.
But it doesn't change the fact that they're still in a drought as well.
I 100% agree with that. But
My
part
point of telling that story was, while when you think that these people are doing things to help you, they're actually more communistic than you realize, because they just told you what you can and can't do with your own water while they let a corporation suck 27 million gallons out of a state that's in the middle of a drought. Mm-hmm. Like, hypocrite much? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know what you're saying.
But people don't know that because they're not privy to those deals until they come out in the public, right? That story didn't come out till it was all said and done, and it's like, hey, these fucks took 27 million gallons of water out of a state that is in the middle of a drought, and they paid less than $550 for it.
Yeah.
How much would your water bill be if you sucked 27 million gallons out of the city of wherever you live in?
Queen Creek, it would be a lot. I have irrigation, so irrigation costs me $600 a year. And then I have my regular sprinklers, and on average I'm about $60 a month. When I'm not watering the yard for whatever reason, it's $60. When I'm watering, it's like double that. But the other part I heard about the water and the fire hydrants in Cali was whatever the fucking mayor is, who everybody's calling for his head on a silver platter.
Yes.
He shut them off. He shut up 70 of the fire hydrants, and he depleted the fire department because too expensive, blah blah blah, and
Yeah, it was like a defunding thing where
yeah. So
they deemed that they weren't necessary. Yeah.
right, which is why insurance companies have been bailing on California for the last few years. Like, it's not a recent thing. They're just bailing. They're fucking done because number one, it's just chaos, and number two, they knew this was coming. Like, if all the environment, if everybody says these things are going to happen, why would you stay there as an insurance company knowing that the city and the states are not, and the cities and the state of California are not doing anything to clean up this fire accelerant? Because that's what it is, right? Everything that's on the ground is a fire accelerant.
Right.
Why would you stay there and offer insurance? You know?
I don't know. It's catch-22. You know, everybody hates insurance until they need it. And then it seems like when you need it, they're not willing to pay because of X, Y, or Z. So I don't know. That's one of those subjects where you're like, there's got to be a better way to do it, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Right.
You know? I agree with you because the same thing's happening in Florida. They don't want to give people homeowners insurance who live in the path of hurricanes. You know, if it's happened more than X amount of times or whatever, you know, they start bailing on you or whatever. And now they're considering, like you just said with California, maybe we're just going to bail on Florida altogether because it's not worth it. You know, they already segregated Florida into their own region or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure they did the same thing with California to try to alleviate the insurance cost to you and I. You know, we don't live in the path of a hurricane or forest fires.
No, I think if you've gone now tornadoes, you can't really, as we're talking natural disaster, right? Tornadoes, you can't really pinpoint, right? I mean, there's tornado alley and shit like that.
Yeah, they kind of have a path that they follow in certain times of the year,
Right.
but no, they could.
Right, but if you're in Florida or any Gulf state, Gulf city, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about.
New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, and you've been hit, I'd say at least twice. Like, if you live in an area that's been fucking twicely decimated and you're a total loss and you got to build from the ground up. If I'm an insurance company, I'm like, fuck you. If you move there, you're on your own. Like, you're straight up on your own. If you don't have enough sense to not live in an area that was devastated not once but twice, then fuck off. You're on your own. Like, it's kind of like, you know,
I think it's coming to that.
It has to be, because it's not fair to us, because it comes down to taxes, right? Because how are you going to rebuild California with taxes?
Yeah, if you look at that devastation, and it probably took what, 50, 60 years to build the Palisades to look like that minimum.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 80 or 90. Who the fuck knows? I mean, I'm sure they've been building out to that rich area for a long time.
A long fucking time.
You start adding those dollars in your head, especially you as a real estate agent. Holy shit. You're talking what,
hundreds of millions, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars. Because, like, I saw some.
Well, it would be well over $1 billion, because two of those houses that I saw were Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg's, which one was $26 million and the other was like $85 million.
I think it was. I'm going to correct you because I saw the same thing. What I saw was Hanks was 40, Spielberg's was 60. Now,
Okay, there you go. That's $100 million right there.
Think about this, dude. The amount of nostalgia and collectibles, and memorabilia
that
in
thought
those two
crossed my
houses
mind.
alone.
Absolutely.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's so sad.
And then Adam Sandler's house is gone. Same thing. Anybody that has been in the movie industry and in the sports industry. Let's face it. There's athletes that lived up there that have nothing now. All of their stuff is gone because you didn't have enough time. There was a thing going around on Instagram. TMZ posted it. Two guys and a dog were trapped in their house, surrounded by the flames. They had to have died, because I didn't watch the whole thing, because I was like, fuck. I mean, they were panning their house like this.
I think that would have to be the worst, because everybody says burning and drowning. They say drowning, you just go to sleep.
Yeah, drowning. I've heard, which, I mean, it's kind of hard because you don't ever talk to somebody who's drowned and died.
No.
But that would be a peaceful way to go, because you just kind of, you know.
I don't think there can be an easy way to burn alive.
No.
That does not sound pleasant at all.
No, and if you watch the Penguin series, the
Which
first
I did.
season, which is the first season, you know that there is no easy way to die while on fire.
No.
You know, especially if you're alive and you're on fire.
That would be horrible.
That would be a bad day. Bad day. There was what the fuck? I was watching something. Going down that dark path, Mike. In some third world chaotic country, you know, where the average lifespan is like 10 years old, the military / police put a guy in a tire. Okay, so imagine you take a tire off your vehicle and go over your head and lock your arms down, so you're stuck on your side. Your hands are underneath the tire itself, right?
Okay.
And you can't move the tire. You can't push it up because they fucking cinch that motherfucker down, right? It's poured gas on the dude, lit him up.
Oh my God.
Right? I told you I was going down that dark path. Lit him up. Lit him up.
Horrible.
Right? That's why we don't play with fire, boys and girls.
Yes.
You know, just don't play with fire. I know you want to. I know you think it's fun, but just don't play with fire. The other thing that came across on Instagram, as it relates to the fires in California, guy went down the conspiracy path, right? Recent episodes we've talked about Corey Feldman and how he has been trying to expose the pedophiles in Hollywood for decades, right? Because it's decades now. We're all the same age. You, me, Feldman, same age.
Yep.
Like he came up in Hollywood when we were 10 years old. Him and Corey, the Coreys, I mean, we were their age. So that kind of puts, you know.
Yeah, that's why we love those movies.
Right. So Feldman was because I researched Feldman after we talked about it because I put up a thing that's going to drop on our YouTube shorts. And I researched him and I read the article. When he met Corey Haim, he basically had told Corey Haim, this is, you know, in order to be successful, in order, you know, for us to do what we have to do, these are certain things we have to do. And he was referring to the fact that, you know, Rob Reiner or whoever, I shouldn't say Rob Reiner, I don't know anything about him, but, you know, I don't fuck. Joe Blow, the producer of XYZ movie, which the Coreys starred in.
Sure.
Yeah, he was going to go diddle both Coreys because in order for them to continue working on films, they had to be diddled by Joe Blow, the director, producer, whatever. It was commonplace. Feldman was telling Haim this was commonplace. This was just something you got to suck up and just do. Because if you want to have this life, this is just something you have to do. It's a byproduct. It's kind of like, you know, how sexual harassment in the workplace was commonplace, right? Like when your mom, not saying your mom was always sexually harassed, but like when she was working, if she worked in an office environment, back in her day, getting smacked on the ass was commonplace. You know,
sure.
You know what I mean? It's just, you reference sexual innuendos and shit like that. Whereas now, you know, it's all taboo. You can't do any of that shit because, oh, God forbid, you know, if you touch a woman on the shoulder, oh, fuck you, you're going to jail, right?
If you say the wrong thing to them in a corporate environment now, you don't even look at them wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing. With what Feldman was telling Haim, and then we talked about how he is trying to expose this pedophile ring in Hollywood for decades, because it's decades. One of the reels I saw, the guy just kind of, I'm scrolling through it, right? Because I don't really scroll that much, but when I started seeing the fire stuff, it was devastating to see some of the stuff, you know, like people have enough footage that they're driving through Malibu, right? And then because they had that footage on their phone, then they drove through Malibu yesterday. Top screen was before fire, bottom screen was after fire. It's like a fucking Holocaust. It's what I would equate to a nuclear bomb blowing up LA.
Oh yeah, it looked like a war zone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the conspiracy of this part of it's the Hollywood conspiracy to where the guy was like, do you really think it would go above the people that are on those lists? Would it go above them not to let Hollywood burn? Because when Hollywood burned, what happened? All the evidence.
All those secrets went up in flames.
All the evidence is
gone.
gone.
That thought crossed my mind too.
All the evidence is gone. It's burned up, and you can't. I mean, it's just.
And either way, I mean, you can go down both roads. You can say the conspiracy path, you know, there was some nefarious goings on, or
Right.
you could say it's just convenient. It's an unfortunate convenience, you know?
Right. Right. Unfortunate convenience.
I think it's probably more that, that guy that you were talking about that was on Rogan that said the perfect storm's coming and nobody's doing anything to fix it. And
No.
bam, here's what happened. But yeah, trust me, that thought crossed my mind too. I was like, oh, imagine all the secrets that went up in flames too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them in that part of the country, right?
Oh. Dude.
Probably more per capita than any spot on earth.
Yeah. Yeah. LA, Hollywood, by all means. There's so much just corruption and fucking, I mean, Harvey Weinstein was born in Hollywood, right?
Well,
Hashtag
I guess
Me
my
Too.
point would be the rest of the world doesn't make a fucking mystery out of it. North Korea, they're like, yeah, we fuck people up that don't fall in line. China's like, yeah, we fuck people up that don't fall in line.
Yep.
America's like, yeah, we're all wholesome and we got morals and values. And then you start uncovering all the fucking layers of the onion. And no, not really. People are just people. And some of them suck. And some of them suck on a level that most people can't even comprehend.
Right.
And per capita, there's more there than anywhere.
Yeah. Well, not anymore because they all got to move. Because think about it. Think about rebuilding Hollywood. Like, think about
That's what I'm saying. How long
Right.
did it take to build that Pacific Palisades community?
I don't know.
And how long is it going to take to rebuild it? And I mean, you got to go through all the red tape of the insurance companies first. Holy fuck.
Which isn't going to happen because a lot of people don't have insurance. So if Biden stays true to what happened in New Orleans or wherever the fuck, he's going to give everybody else $750. Have a nice day. Here, Tom Hanks. Here's $700. Oh, were you backing Biden, Tom? Oh, well, okay. Here's your $750 check. All you fucking not Democrats, I'm sorry. All you fucking actors and athletes who decided to inject your opinion into politics, not only have you tarnished your legacy, because regardless of what side you're on, half the country's against you. So shut the fuck up. I don't go to movies to look at Robert De Niro and say, oh, he hates Biden. I hope Robert De Niro's house burned to the ground because, fuckhead, shut your mouth. Just karma, right? I really don't hope his house burns down. I like De Niro until he started opening his mouth about that shit.
I knew what you meant.
I know.
I'm glad you clarified that though,
Yes.
because a lot of people don't know that it's like jokes. They're jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just it's like somebody posted too, like where's George Clooney's fundraising campaign now? Like you gonna step up and raise money to rebuild LA, George, or are you gonna stay in Italy where you've been since the Diddy list dropped?
Well, I guess on a serious note, do those people even have insurance that live in houses like that are worth $80 million?
I don't know how you would.
I think that you have to be self-insured at that point, don't you?
I think you do too.
And that's just a horrible loss. That was a question I had for you when I saw the prices of those homes. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe that insurance companies would insure those kind of. I don't know.
And I agree with you. I think it has to do with what the fuck? What the fuck was that thing? Remember when you could insure your fists? Boxers would have that insurance. London's.
Oh.
Lloyd's of London?
Yes.
Is that what they're called? Lloyd's of London?
Yes.
So maybe they have that kind of insurance.
I bet you're right.
Maybe they have that kind of insurance. So it's, I mean, they're going to spend.
Yeah, like there's maybe 3 or 4 companies in the world that would insure you, and they're one of them because they're the one we all know as a household name. Yeah, I think you're right. It's probably some shit like that.
Yeah. It has to be. At least in my mind. I don't, because you can't go completely without insurance. I mean, a $60 million hit for Spielberg. I don't know let's find out, Chris. Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Steven Spielberg.
Oh, he probably makes that in interest in 1 quarter.
I just want to know what he's worth. $5.3 billion.
Yeah.
But $60 million, that's a chunk out of $5.3 billion. You know what I mean? That's still a chunk of money. I mean, it's not chump change, right? It's not a chump change thing.
No. What is that, 3% of your wealth?
Yeah. And part of that net worth though is real estate.
Sure.
So you know, who knows? Who knows what the fallout's going to be with that? But you know,
But back to your original point, that was one
Yes.
of my first thoughts: is how long does it take, and how do you even go about restructuring an entire community? You know.
yeah, I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. I mean, you have to clean up, and then the cleanup becomes the benefit of a fire. As far as cleanup's concerned, you don't have a lot of debris that has to be dumped into a garbage dump, right? Into a landfill because it's burned, it's ashes.
Right.
But what's that going to do to the air? Because the winds are still blowing, so that shit's going to come to Arizona, and it's just going to travel to the West Coast. So it's going to make the air quality just shitty for a while, especially in the areas of California where it's at, and it's going to go out to sea. So that means it's going to travel around the world and shit. It's that whole butterfly effect, right? The butterfly that is here is going to affect Taiwan, you know?
Right.
Right? I mean, that's the concept of that.
It's a cute way of, yeah.
But it has to. I mean, it's because we got crazy ass wind out of nowhere. Like we were fucking fine, normal, no wind. All of a sudden, boom, crazy ass wind, insanity.
I think we understand so little about the weather patterns, and take credit. We're definitely responsible somewhat for global warming, but there's also natural weather patterns that happen just throughout the cycles of the Earth has been around for what, 3 billion years or some shit?
Something like that.
Long time.
Yeah.
So you're going to have freezing, thawing, thawing. We've had ice ages multiple times. We know that now.
Right. Well, and that's why I said when I was growing up, the biggest thing was we're going back to the ice age. I vaguely remember in elementary school, like once we got out of the 70s, it was like, oh fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do
we're
too.
going to ice age. Like the world's going to freeze. So then they had to come up with a way to create greenhouse gases to warm us up.
Well, if you listen to Graham Hancock now, or I think it's his partner actually, is the geologist.
Yeah.
He explains that things warm up gradually before they cool off again. So actually they were probably right decades ago versus, he doesn't think that the Earth is going to continue to get hot. It's going to heat up a couple degrees. And then for some reason that I'm too stupid to understand, that triggers a cooling effect. And that was probably what was responsible for we went through a mini ice age about 12,500 years ago.
Right. Right.
And that cycle seems to be coming around again. But, the dummies are like, oh, it's getting hot. How's it going to get cold again? Well, he actually explained that, and it made sense to me.
Oh, explain it to us, please, because I would like to know how.
I don't. I'm too stupid to have remembered how that happened. But
Damn it!
What the hell's that guy's name? Graham Hancock, and they're on Rogan all the time.
David Crosby?
No, Graham Hancock is the guy who wrote Fingerprints of the Gods back in the 90s. That's a great book. And his premise was that Egyptology was all wrong, that there was a civilization that lived before the Egyptians that were responsible for building the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid, because the pyramids that the Egyptians tried to build were shit compared to like the Great Pyramid and that area. And there was wearing on the Sphinx that was far older than they had originally taught us in school. And, what went out into the world as here's when these things were built is completely wrong. And we know that now because they uncovered an underground city in Turkey that was for surely built 12,000 years ago. They just know it from carbon dating and the way they can.
No shit.
Yeah, science is far smarter than I am, but.
Speaking of underground cities, there was something else on the Instagram scroll.
Okay.
I think it's I want to say it's in California. Mineral fracking. So they went down 60 stories, right? Underground.
For like natural gas or something, or
yeah, for natural gas, for elements, minerals, whatever the fuck. But it ended up being I'm going to say 6 million square feet. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. It could be 60 million or 6 million, one of the two. But there ends up being 6 million square feet. and it's kind of like a it's big. It's kind of like I don't know. Say a 20-story building. Okay, so this 6 million square feet is 20-story buildings tall underground.
All right.
Okay, 60 stories down, and then you have 20 stories. So it's 80 stories down, but 20 stories of it you can, freely move around and delivery 18-wheelers and shit like that. It's 1,747 people work down here. There's 55 companies that lease
Holy
the space.
shit.
Yeah, that lease the space. It was something that said subterranean living, and then they're like, yes, it's true.
Have you ever seen that one? Not to interrupt you, but
No.
Have you ever seen the one in the Ozarks? You just described exactly the one in the Ozarks too. Yeah,
Really?
they drive fucking semis down there and Jeeps.
Maybe that's
and-
where it is. Maybe that's where it is.
No, I'm sure there's more around the country,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay.
that's a huge one. That was on Jesse Ventura's that crazy show he had on True TV for a while, Conspiracy Files.
Okay.
What are they digging in the Ozarks? And then they got as far as they could. They got inside the tunnels and stuff. That's how you knew there was semis in there and shit. I was like, holy crap, the scale of it was gigantic, like you were saying. How long does it take to do something like that?
I'm looking it up to see. I put, I don't know. National Underground Railroad. Nope. I subterranean. I don't know. It was 6 million square feet. Let's try that. 6 million square feet. Because really, it's one of those things like, that's fucking badass.
It is badass.
Okay, so located underground, 3 weeks ago, located underground, 6 million square feet. This is going to be, it's a YouTube thing. Ever heard of Subtropolis? That's what it's called. It's called Subtropolis. Underground bunker cities that are real. I'm not going to play the video because let's open it up here. You want to fucking open up? Really? You don't have any comments? You fucking dumbass. So this is probably shared off of Instagram. Can I copy that? I can copy that. I'm going to send it to you so you can check it out. Mike Michaels.
That's me.
I just texted it to you. Let me see if it goes. Yeah. So it's ever heard of Subtropolis? It's located underground, 6 million square feet. This is located in Kansas City, but there's tunnels in California also. So that was kind of accurate. My statement was like, I thought it was California, but what I just sent you is what they called it. It was called Subtropolis, and it's basically the thing that I watched. There's 1,747 people actually live and work underneath in this thing. There's
Well,
55
that's even
companies that
crazier.
lease
So they're
space.
saying that
Yeah.
California is fucking connected to Kansas City?
Yeah, in the tunnel. I think there's
Underground.
tunnels fucking everywhere. I think
I
there's
do
tunnels
too.
everywhere, dude. I
Yeah.
I think if
they didn't just start digging subway systems and quit digging.
No.
They're like,
And
if we can make a
yeah.
subway system, guess what else we can do?
Yeah, so when those pieces of land collapse, in the Midwest and fissures and shit, I think there's more to that than just fracking. Because you've been fracking forever, right?
Like
And
your
as-
sinkholes that are happening and shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the byproduct of doing that. But I agree with you. There's more tunnels than you think. Like the Penguin, right? There's this giant, according to the Penguin show, there's a giant tunnel system in New York that was never what's the word? Was never. I forget what happened in the Penguin show. Remember when they were talking when he went down and found that tunnel? That
Yeah.
thing? What was that for?
Well, at one time there was a whole underground, because Los Angeles has an underground tunnel system too. Not supposedly. They know that there's at least one that went from the Comedy Store to the top of Sunset Boulevard. So I'm not sure what they used them for back in the day. That one in particular was for the mob.
Yeah.
But the ones underground in New York, I think it was part of the sewer system or something originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something to that effect, where you actually had they built them for something, and then they just let them go. Like I had no idea L.A. had an underground transit system until Lethal Weapon 3.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Because nobody ever talked about it. And then all of a sudden, Lethal Weapon 3, they're fucking underground. Like, what the fuck is this? And then true story that like they have underground corridors and shit. It's crazy, but it makes sense because, you know. So it'd be interesting to see if now what if conspiracy theory. So what if the underground tunnels in LA actually have like all the vaults and shit to where they actually store all the secrets and lies and corruption, right?
Oh yeah.
Like Tom Hanks had a pathway downstairs through his bat cave and then, you know, went down because he's been tied to all that shit too with Epstein and not Diddy, but no, I think he was tied to some Diddy parties, and Epstein's shit. So, you know, what if there's a secret vault underground where all these people hide their shit, you know? So if something happens, they have it because it's a blackmail thing, right?
Sure.
Like you open your mouth, I'm gonna fuck you up, Tom. You know, look what I got on you, man.
Yeah, it's the same reason they say they make politicians join those secret societies, and then they make them do shit, and they videotape it, and then that's it. They got you.
They got you.
Don't forget, George, when you fucked a pool boy, we got her on video.
Oh, George fucked a pool boy?
I'm just making it up.
George Sr. or George Jr.?
Me. That's always been the rumor, though, like that Skull and Bone Society and shit, that they made them do something that they have a piece of evidence on, and if they don't play ball, then there you go. We're going to expose you.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is rightful. It's kind of like the Illuminati. Is that what it is? Illuminati and then the Masons. The Masonic, yeah. Is it the Masons? Are the Masons dark? I don't think they're dark, but the Illuminati is kind of weird. I have people all the time reach out to me on Instagram. Hey, join the Brotherhood of the Illuminati. Like, what's in it for me, man? Like, what do I get out of it?
Have you asked that question?
I have, and then they dangle all these weird things, and then, well, the Grand Master's going to call you. I'm like, okay. And then I don't answer the phone, and then the Grand Master, hey, you didn't answer the Grand Master's phone call. No, I didn't, because I just don't really think this is a fit. Well, don't you want to join the Brotherhood and you know, riches and blah, blah, power and fame? I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not really, man. I don't need.
You know what I would say?
What?
I'm not familiar with the Grand Master. I'm only familiar with the Grand Poobah.
Is that similar to the Grand Funk Railroad?
No, the Grand Poobah from the fucking Flintstones.
Oh, that's funny.
Remember?
Oh, that's right.
The Royal Order of the Water Buffaloes. The Grand Poobah.
Yes.
You're in trouble with the Grand Poobah. Yeah. I don't know anything about a Grand Master. If you ain't got a Grand Poobah, I ain't joining.
Yep.
I couldn't be a member of one of those things. I'd have to be the leader, because every 5 seconds I'd be like, you want me to do what? You guys believe in what?
Right.
Is everybody here nuts?
I think everybody is insane on a certain level. They're just afraid to admit it.
I think you're right. I think you and I admitted it at an very early age that nothing in life made sense, and we were just going to resign ourselves to the fact that that was just the way life was.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
because every time I think I got shit figured out, somebody does something that just completely counteracts the fact that I thought I had it figured out. You know,
like burn down L.A.
Not even that. Just like the whole story I told at the beginning with the Nestle Corporation.
Yeah,
they make laws to lead you to believe that you're doing something good to save your fellow mankind, and then behind the scenes, they're lining their pockets with corporate lobbying money and charging some corporation $500 for 27 million gallons of water that could have grown a lot of crops,
right?
Filled a lot of houses with water, you know.
And that's the thing. That's why we go back to what we talked about with the presidents and politicians and shit. The lobbyists have really fucked up the democratic system, in my mind. It wasn't because in the 70s, 80s, lobbyists weren't as prevalent as they are now. So, you know, you almost feared the government in a certain extent. You if you were elected president, like you were the shit in the United States. Like that was it across the world.
Yes.
You're the man. You are the man because you did have control. And then once the lobbyists introduced themselves into the system, I think that's what really derailed democracy as we knew it. And now because now it's all about money. It's all about, okay, what's in it for me? How can I benefit from this? Fuck you, common man and woman. I want to make my hundreds of millions of dollars before I'm done with my 4 to 8 years, and just fuck you all, you know?
Yes.
And that all comes to lobbyists. Like tobacco. Tobacco is the prime example of lobbyists, right? They controlled the government for so long. And then, you know, that's why all their lawsuits and stuff took so long to come out. Like the NAR, I realized, the National Association of Realtors, I never realized that because I'm part of that, because in order to be a realtor, you have to be a member of that. Sorry, they're one of the biggest lobbying companies in the country.
Really?
Just because they control housing. Housing controls everything.
Well,
right?
now that you say that, it totally makes sense. Real estate is king, you know?
Right, because every time I sell a house, check this out. Every time I close on a deal, I have paid 63 people in that transaction.
63?
63 people get paid every time I close a deal. The ones that I directly impact are my lender, his processors, whatever team he has of assistants, my assistant, my brokerage, myself, home inspectors, appraisers, and then from a home inspection standpoint, let's just say there's $2,000 worth of stuff that needs to be done. So say there's 2 different handymen that have to go out and do that work. Right there, there's just 10 people.
Yeah, that's true.
So then add this to it. When I list the house, you still have those 10, but plus then I have to pay for the sign company to drop the sign in the yard. There's 11. Got to pay for photographer to take pictures. That's 12. I pay for somebody to put all my stuff into the MLS system. That's 13, right? And then when I close that house, 14, 15, they come back out, take the sign. Somebody puts the lockbox up. That's 16. If you hire a stager, there's 17. If you hire a cleaner, there's 18. If you hire movers, there's 19. You know what I'm saying? It goes on and on and on.
Sure.
So that's just 19 people off the top of my head. And then you got to go to the title company aspect, right? So then you have the escrow officer get paid, the title company gets paid, the county recorder's office gets paid. Then you have to pay the notary for coming out and doing the signing. You got to pay all the staff at the title company. So say there's 10 people in the title company. So now all of a sudden we're about 30 people right here, just off the top of my head. So that's why when the housing market crashed, everything went with it, because everything that we do creates income 63 different ways. And people don't realize that. They think we're just in it for the commission.
Yeah, so now when realtors aren't selling houses, then all those other people aren't working as well.
Which is why you see a flux.
Sure.
Which is why you see lenders going.
Because you're one
spree.
person affecting
Right.
63 people.
Right. And so you see lenders go on these hiring sprees and then firing sprees. The market goes up and down. They go with it. Same with pool companies. Same with, like when I have a buddy who runs We Fix Ugly Pools. It's this company. So when our market's down, his market's down. Because if you're not spending money on your house, what are you doing? You're hoarding the cash.
Sure.
But when everything in the market's thriving and the economy's thriving, the housing market's booming, he's crazy busy because everybody wants to, change out their tile, make some more cool deck, change their surface from plaster to pebble, maybe go from pebble to sheen, all these kinds of things happen. And it's all tied to the housing market. So same with title companies. Title companies, they'll hire and then they'll freeze and they'll fire. Hire, freeze, fire. Hire, freeze, fire. You see it. And you see it with some of these companies I've gone to over the years where I go in this big fucking, like a Walmart-sized building, right? And they have all these offices and open space. And when the market's down, 80% of it's empty.
Sure.
When the market's up, they're fucking bursting at the seams. It's crazy. And same with the car industry, automobile industry. They go how we go because, again, it's kind of one and the same. It's the same path when the economy's thriving and shit like that.
Well, that was the craziest thing about living through the pandemic is when did you think that you ever would have lived through a time in history where there was like, me being in a small town, our car dealerships traditionally, I don't know, I'm really bad at judging numbers, but let's say they had 500 cars on their lot at a decent sized lot here. They might have had 50,
right.
during the pandemic.
Yeah. I remember where we got Nikki's.
So odd.
Yeah, way on. And I'm gonna sound pretentious as fuck. But when we got Nikki's Jaguar, she drives a Jaguar.
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 If you're really in the know.
if you're really in the know, and check this out, if you're really in the know movie trivia wise, Jaguar, it's sleek and sexy. It will get you laid. Remember that movie?
No. I probably will when you say it.
Oh, what the fuck? Dudley Moore was in it. Paul Reiser. They were ad agency guys that went nuts. Dudley Moore, I forget the name, but Dudley Moore goes insane and goes into a lockdown facility, like a state hospital, right, for the insane.
Okay.
Paul Reiser's struggling with shit, so he tells Dudley Moore to write some ads, and Dudley Moore's like office rocker, so he has all his fellow nutty people come up with these ads, right? Volvo, it's boxy and fun. But Jaguar, it's sleek and sexy. It will get you laid. All these things went out. Right? They published them because Paul Reiser didn't look at them. So I think Crazy People in this call. I think it was called Crazy People. So all these things went out, and the ads were published, and people were lining up to buy Jaguars. Why? Because they're sleek and sexy. It will get you laid.
That's hilarious.
Right? So yeah, Crazy People. So 1990. It's an American. I don't know why I call it black comedy. American 1990 American black comedy film starring Dudley Moore, Daryl Hannah. And come on, where's the preface, man? Okay,
Man, I don't remember that one. I should. That would have been like my junior year in high school. I probably went to see it at the movies.
Yeah. So
It's not ringing a bell though.
Dudley Moore, Daryl Hannah, Paul Reiser, which I knew two of the three. J.T. Walsh. But legit, I'm trying to. Okay, maybe this is it. Yeah. Well, okay, so when his coworkers start believing that job stress is affecting his performance, this is Dudley Moore's character, and his mental health advertising executive, the name of the movie is Emery, is sent to a mental hospital. There he befriends Dr. Liz Baylor and develops a crush on a fellow patient, Kathy Burgess, which is Daryl Hannah. Eventually, it becomes clear that the work Emery was doing before he was hospitalized wasn't crazy after all, but all the business world now interests him less than his new relationship. And so the chaos of the ads and shit that they came up with in the hospital was just the funniest thing about it. Because they experienced the, well, I forget how they did it, but it was fucking funny just for the sheer fact that it was a no holds bar, kind of an advertising thing. Like you can't be honest, right? In today's world, you can't go out and, say, if somebody goes to a Porsche dealership and you can't walk up to guys like, so you want to get laid or what? Or are you just looking for hand jobs? Because,
Right.
do you have a big penis or a little one? Because you have a little one, let's get you the most expensive Porsche. You have a big one, let's get you the midsize, right? Like I saw one of those big ass fucking dually trucks yesterday driving to the gym. Like, shit you not, this thing was probably like an 8-inch lift. The back dually tires, red, black tinted windows. I mean, the thing was fucking mammoth. First thing comes to mind when you see that guy's got a little dick.
Yep.
Yeah, he's compensating,
Especially if they got the balls hanging from the tail.
Right,
hitch.
exactly.
Oh, yeah. Then it's like, man, that's a microscopic.
So this is funny. So Nikki yesterday, randomly, like his Facebook and Instagram and shit, right, sends you stupid shit. So randomly she gets this thing about the average penis size listed by continent or, across the world. Okay. So it's no surprise, and this is not me being racist, and this is quoting my wife. Dominican Republic, places that are of African descent have by far the largest dingalings, as measured, I guess. I don't know.
The stereotype happens.
The stereotype, right? Right.
Sure.
The average size in America is 5.5 inches, apparently. The average size in those countries that's predominantly black it's like 7.7, I think she said. The Asian countries are 3 to 4 inches. Like what the fuck? Like, are you in? Because I can't tell. Which could explain the population and lack thereof in the Asian countries. No offense, Asian fans. I'm just sorry you weren't blessed with an endowment.
There's a billion Chinese people, man.
Yeah. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe the wives didn't realize they were in there because they were asleep. and then they wake up pregnant like 9 months
I
later.
just
It's like,
had
how'd
to
that
say it
happen?
because there was a
Yeah.
million people screaming at the podcast. There's a billion Chinese people. So yeah, I think your second theory might hold true.
All right, I'm gonna Google this shit. So yeah, the pooled man mean length estimates were a flaccid length. Let's see what the hell this. That's not giving me what I want. I should have looked at the article.
There's a reason the stereotypes have happened. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
that's one thing that pisses me off is when, and especially if it's good, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
When you say that black people predominantly have big dicks, that's a positive, and then you'll have
Yeah.
so many people say it's so racist. Like, how can it be racist if it's positive? If somebody
Yeah.
said, "Hey, most people named Mike have big dicks," I'd be like, "You're damn right they do." I would never be offended once, ever. Right?
No. Okay, so I found something here. Erect length in inches, percentage of men. This is kind of sad for some of you. 3.8 to 4.5 inches is 13.5% of the population. 4.6 to 6 inches is 68% of the population. 6.1 to 6.8 is 13.5% of the population. Anything over 6.9 inches is 2.5% of the population. The average global penis size, like she said, is 5.1 to 5.5 inches.
Yeah, which makes sense based on the numbers you just read out.
Only 1% of men have 8 inches or bigger. The average size of a man, flaccid, is less than 4 inches. It's flaccid, man. You're a grower or you're a shower. You can't be both.
Right. Like a turtle.
Right. I was in the pool.
Don't they know about the pool?
They don't.
I don't know how you guys.
Right. I don't know how
It's
you
like, I don't know how you guys walk around with those things all
you
day.
have no idea. That's it. It's the average height. Oh, height for a man. I'm like, fuck, that's the average height for a man is 69 inches. I don't know why that came into play with this thing. Here's a fun fact. Why is morning wood bigger? Your testosterone level is at its highest in the morning after you wake up.
Yes.
It is highest immediately after waking up from rapid eye movement or REM state. The increase is this hormone alone may be enough to cause an erection, even in the absence of any physical situation.
See, that question of curiosity crossed my mind as well, so I Googled it at one point in time.
There you go. So, this is actually a question. Can a 70-year-old man still get hard?
Yes.
Most men reported wanting sexual function compared to their youth. Stated that this distressed them. Sex is important to elderly men, even among the 70, 80-year-olds. An intact, a sexual desire, erection, and orgasm are common and is considered important to preserve them. It is, boys and girls. You need to have sex as much as you can. It does. It helps
You got to practice.
Yeah, it helps you. It's
Yeah, that's actually another scientific fact is you even if you're not able to, you have to get rid of some of that testosterone. Otherwise, it does build up in your system. And that's what causes... So, like, guys that have high levels of testosterone are usually your aggressive guys, right?
Right.
And if they don't go do what you do and work out, I'm not saying you're aggressive because you're not,
No.
but if you were an aggressive kind of guy, the fact that you work out as hard as you do would be beneficial to not only you, but everyone around you.
Right.
That's the best thing a guy can do that feels like he's wanting to crawl out of his skin all the time because he's got all this energy is you got to get rid of that somehow because otherwise you're making people around you miserable.
You do. And I've been working on I'm not an angry person. I'm not like,
No.
I'm working on my little short fuse thing. I'm actually, that book I've been reading, right? The Master, the Puppet Master.
Yes.
That actually, I've been listening to that driving. So that's actually, so instead of listening to the music I listen to, right? That's actually kept, because my biggest stressor is when I drive.
Sure.
Just because you have to be.
It is mine too.
You have to be such an offensive. You have to be such a defensive, aggressive driver now.
Yes.
because all the fucking idiot. I mean, I'm 40 minutes from my office, man, and I shit you not. When you come through, I'm on the freeway. You know, I'm going like I set my third cruise control at 79, right? And people fly past me like I'm standing still. But then I'll come up to somebody that's fucking going 45 in a 50 in the middle lane, and it's like, you know, they're on the phone. You fucking know you're on the phone, right? And I'm my truck, and I'll look down. And sure as shit, man, they're doing this. And if you're not watching, you can't see me, but I'm pretending I'm driving and looking down. Get off your fucking phone.
Yes.
And that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I started listening to. I put my phone by myself. I stick my phone in my console and leave it the fuck alone. When Nikki's with me, I'll have my phone at arm's length, and then she'll give me shit. You know, stop doing that. Stop doing that. But so I'm just as guilty, right? But when I don't play with my phone when I'm by myself. I drive because, you know. But there's so many fucking people, man, are just on their phones, and you can tell they're on their phones because they're going so slow on the freeway. It's the freeway, get off, you know. And then you can stop light, and this is the funny thing, right? Like I'm sure you've seen this, even in your small town, right? You pull up to a stoplight, right? It's red, and then you have like 3 or 4 cars in the front, right? And then you have this 2-car gap because the person that's 2-car gapped behind stopped.
Is still looking down at their phone.
Stopped and looking at their phone and didn't realize that the traffic moved forward.
Yes.
So every now and then I'll pull in front of them and I'll just look at my side mirror, and when they look up, you see this. It's like, where the fuck did you come from? Exactly.
Where
did I come from? Yes, pay attention, boys and girls. Pay attention when you're driving. Especially because I don't want you to kill me. I don't want you to be the reason I'm not coming home tomorrow.
Or me. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that pisses me off is I don't want to be the reason. I don't want you to be the reason I'm dead. Like if I'm the reason I'm dead, if I fucking run and wrap my truck around a pole because I'm not paying attention, that's on me.
Right.
I actually saw one time. You remember where Ellsworth Road is when you lived in Arizona, far east?
Yeah. That's
where the proving ground.
That's where my first practice place was.
Okay, yeah. So where the proving grounds used to be, right? GM proving grounds, right? Mm-hmm. So when Queen Creek started building houses, that was the only way to get to Queen Creek was take the 60 to Ellsworth and head south for fucking ever. Okay? Shit you not, I was going back towards the freeway one day and I saw this truck on the lane going south on Ellsworth. I want to say it was a red truck, but don't quote me. Out of nowhere, okay, imagine this red truck going north starts going further to the west, hits the wood, or not the wood, the dirt berm, launches itself in the air, twists like it's turning over end, lands upside down. This is before cell phones and shit. So what the fuck was this guy doing? Going fast enough that he wasn't paying attention. He turned off. He somehow veered off the side of the road and went up in the air. And by going up in the air, it ended up being like a ramp situation. And he barrel rolled until he landed on the top. And the only reason I know that is because I was looking in the side mirror as I was driving, because you saw the dust and shit. I'm like, holy shit. And then sure enough, you could see the barrel roll in my side mirror and just plant. I'm like, fuck me. So I called 911 and said, hey, this is what's going on. But somebody else already called because it happened that quick. But just insane, man. Imagine now with cell phones and shit, and people aren't paying attention. The whole distracted driving shit is just nuts.
Yeah, that's what happened to my sister in her car accident. The kid was driving too fast and he jumped a hill in the country, and he couldn't control it when it landed because he's not Bo and Luke Duke, you know. And it rolled into a field and exploded. But luckily it shot all the people in the car out the window. So it's one time not wearing a seatbelt saved everybody's life. Because had they been wearing, if they had been wearing their seatbelt, every one of them had been dead.
And this was the car that hit your sister?
No, he launched the car.
Oh.
It was a single car accident.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Wow.
If you're out in the country here, if you go off the road, you're in danger because it's not nice, easy ditches. They're like fucking 20 foot deep sometimes. Not quite that. They'd be like 10 foot deep.
Yeah.
Bad enough to, just driving down the road, if I go off the road, I'm fucked. Mm-hmm. There's no getting back on the road. Oh. So at 100 miles an hour, if you end up off the road, you're going to end up in a farmer's field And when that guy got up to the car, he said, I expected to find a bunch of dead occupants, but luckily they got ejected out of the car before it exploded. There was nothing left of the car except the frame.
Well, speaking of mass destruction and car accidents, on the first episode of Landman, the airplane, and the oil tanker, and the
Isn't that
van.
awesome?
Holy shit! That was some like straight up chaotic destruction right there. You know, I mean, it's we only watched episode 1. The Paramount app, I will say, kind of sucks ass. I tried to turn it on this morning 3 times for Little Man because it has a Sonic Hedgehog character, Knuckles, that Little Man loves. So there's a Knuckles season. So when I go get him in the morning, you know, we talk on the way over. I mean, it's 25 steps from my door to their door. So on the way back, you know, we're talking about what we're going to do. So we were playing Minecraft blocks, and I got the Minecraft Legos out and shit. And he likes to watch Peppa the Pig. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna show you this other thing, dude. You're going to like it, I promise. Because Knuckles, he's in the Knuckles right now. So much so he got Knuckles. I took him to get a haircut this weekend, and we stopped at McDonald's afterwards. I don't eat that shit, but, you know, he loves it. And the toy was Knuckles, the little Sonic character. So this is Friday. So Wednesday, he takes a toy with me in the truck when I take him to school, right? It's like our thing. Like, what do you want to take in Pop-Pop's truck? He takes a toy out, and, you know, we drive the 5 minutes to school. And so he wanted to take Knuckles to school. I'm like, dude, you can't take it to school because then they'll get mad at me, and then they'll get mad at you. And he had these little pants that I think Sky bought him that have a zipper. I was like, okay, well, they fit in your pocket. And so he opens the zipper up, and he puts Knuckles in there, zips it shut. I was like, okay, little man, you can take it to school, but you can't take it out of your pocket. You take it out of your pocket, the teacher's gonna ask you where you got it, and you're gonna say, Pop gave it to me. Then I'm gonna get in trouble, and you're gonna get in trouble. So you gotta leave it in your pocket all day. You can touch it, you can reach down and realize Knuckles is still there, right? But you can't take it out of the pocket. So I knew one or two things were gonna happen. When Skylar picked him up that day, she's gonna text me, what the fuck? You let Anthony take a toy to school? Or nothing was gonna happen. True to little man's intelligence level increasing, nothing happened because he left it in his pocket.
Nice.
He left it zipped. So then the next morning I was like, did you take Knuckles out of your pocket? No, Pop. I was like, is Knuckles still in your pocket? Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll tell Gigi when she does your laundry.
Very nice.
So that was kind of funny. But yeah, so so when I was trying to find the Paramount app on our TV, it took me forever to figure it out. Because it wasn't just listed as an option, right? And then so when I did finally find it, it has a 1.4 rating.
Yeah, because it sucks.
I was like, wow. So is it just that there's not enough good shows on there, or what?
No, it's that their user interface sucks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I tried today. I think when he first came over, I tried to put it on. It wouldn't open up, and then I waited. We watched maybe 10 minutes of Pep Pig. I tried it again. It wouldn't work, and then last ditch effort was about 7:15. I want to try this again, and because he was in the mix of playing with Minecraft and stuff, and it just wouldn't. It just black screen. You know, it's like the Microsoft spinning death type thing.
Yeah, and that's why people don't like it, because not very many people have. I wasn't able to use it flawlessly until I got fiber optic.
Oh, okay.
And it's still fucking herky-jerky with fiber optic, but I can imagine with anything slower than that, because I had it. You know, mine was worse than cable. I was on DSL before that. It was almost impossible. Once I got it going, I would just keep watching however many episodes I wanted to, because if you stopped it,
Gotcha.
a lot of times you couldn't get back in.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's doing that, just shut the app down and keep rebooting it until it starts. It'll eventually start up. But that's why people hate it, because they're used to Netflix, which is the bomb. You know, they never have any problems. They have the best user interface out there. Amazon Prime is a close second.
Amazon Prime, I haven't had a problem with since we got Starlink. I was surprised that I was having the issues with Paramount because of Starlink, because Starlink, you know, is fucking legit.
That's how bad they are. they have most people are at least on cable and they have a user rating of that. I was in the minority being on DSL because I was trying to save money. We weren't doing the podcast when I signed up for that.
Right.
So it was good enough for streaming everything except Paramount. And it's just because their user interface sucks. Whoever did their coding wasn't very good. They must have got the bottom of the barrel coders. Like, we'll pay you $11 an hour to write our lines of code.
Well, now, I don't remember what DSL was. What's DSL?
So when we were all on like AOL and Earthlink and all that bullshit, were dial up, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
DSL came along as the first high-speed internet that came in over your phone lines. But it was a separate high-speed line that didn't interfere with, like, you could be on the phone and multiple people could be on computers at the same time versus nobody could use the phone and only one person could be on the computer at the same time.
Okay. So it really was like AOL back in the day type thing.
Yes. And one of our claims to fame at Kevin's house was me and him and Nick were literally the first house in Glendale that had DSL service.
Yep.
They installed it for free because nobody knew what it was and they were having trouble getting people to sign up. And they were like, hey, we just want to see if our shit works. We'll put all this stuff in for free. And as soon as we found out that we could all be on the computer at the same time and we could use the phone, it's like, yeah, sign us up. And we were saving money.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that DSL was actually your first high-speed internet. And then, I don't know, shortly after that, 3 to 5 years, you got cable. And then that was the be-all, end-all until fiber optic came out.
Yeah, and I keep seeing over and over again, I keep seeing these random companies in neighborhoods. I saw one today taking a little man to school. It's parked in the community area, right? There's 3 trucks. There's one guy standing there. just fucking pulling cable, man. Just fucking pulling cable. And you drive by and you look at his ankles and it's fucking ankle deep in just cable. Just pulling, just whatever they're pulling out of the ground. Somebody else is feeding it somewhere else. And that's his job.
Okay, so here, real quick.
Yep.
Then that's where my devious mind goes, because you just described what I'm seeing happening all around here, and it makes me ask one question.
Yep.
Why is it all happening right now across the
know.
entire country simultaneously?
Alien technology.
Because what you just described, anybody that's listening to this podcast right now that lives in my area was like, hey, yeah, that's what we see every day on the way to work too. Mm-hmm. So it's literally happening across the entire country at the same time.
Yes. Alien technology.
Never know.
That's what I'm thinking, because legit, how else, or why else would it happen now? I mean, because it has nothing to do with satellites, right? Absolutely nothing to do with satellites, right?
Right.
So it's all ground, and we kind of talked about that before. That if what technology has changed between 20 years ago and now that you can make a fiber optic cable? That's the biggest question. What has changed? A cable's a cable, right? I mean, that baffles me, because
here's a fact that'll blow your mind.
Okay, blow my mind.
There was only 69 years between the first Orville and Wilbur Wright flight and the man stepping on the moon.
If the man stepped on the moon in the 19th century.
Correct. That's another conspiracy theory, and that's another rabbit hole. But, yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you went, tens of thousands of years of modern man, and supposedly we never invented airplanes or rocket ships or whatever, and all of a sudden, in 69 years, we went from a little bi-winged fucking balsa wood airplane that barely got off the ground to we built a rocket that went to the fucking moon.
Yes.
We surely built jet airliners, because you can see those with
Oh,
your Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't deny any of I'm a big believer. I think we landed on the moon. I think the conspiracy is what it is, but I think we did land on the moon. I liked that movie that talked about the concept of filming it in a soundstage as a backup, because you always have to have a plan B, right? Like this thing I'm watching right now, it's about growth mindset, okay? And Steve Young, the 49ers quarterback, took over after Joe Montana left. I didn't know anything about him because I'm not a Niners fan. So when he got to college, he was number 8 on the depth chart, okay? By the time he graduated college and entered the draft, he was drafted number 1, right? All growth mindset. So when he was growing up, he kept telling his dad, I'm going to play in the NFL. I'm going to play in the NFL. And his dad, being an attorney, he's like, that's great, son. Dreams are fantastic, but you got to have a plan B. So what's your 80% plan? So, which I thought was weird. So 20% is your dreams and 80% is reality. So Steve Young's
That's
80%
a success
plan,
for failure, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
right? So Steve Young's 80% was I'm going to be a lawyer, but 20% I'm going to be a football player in the NFL. Okay. And he achieved that by his growth mindset. So I think with what NASA did, I think that was their plan B. We're going to the moon. We're going to be there. We're going to land there. They knew they were going to go and they were going to land there as long as they made the flight. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, so they had to have a backup plan in case something didn't work and it malfunctioned, because the entire fucking world is watching the United States land on the moon.
And I'm not still sold that all of that was actual footage from the moon, because they've made the argument, how did they make it through that radiation belt? And who knows? Maybe the fucking film was lined in lead. I don't know, but I agree with you. I think that was a good plan B. I think we went there. I think there's a few things that I've read and heard that have led me to believe that many people could maybe possibly keep that secret for that many years. There was one that just came out that one of the last, I'll have to go back and look. I don't even want to start telling that story because I don't remember the whole story. But anyway, it was like, holy shit, the last person died that had access to this information, and it went back to like either World War II or World War I. Had to have been World War II, because everybody from World War I has to be dead.
Yeah.
So this went all the way back to World War II. And the last person that was a part of this group just died. And I was like, holy crap, they really kept that secret all those years.
Yeah.
There was like 32 of them, if I remember right.
Yeah, and that's part of it. When in the movie that we're talking about,
it's on Apple TV, right?
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but they actually said at the end of it, like you're not going to ever mention a thing about this again, or you're just not going to exist anymore.
Correct.
But and that's what we talked about a little earlier in this podcast, that back then you took the threat of government real, because there was none of what we have now. There's none of the social media shit, and 30 years ago we wouldn't be seeing as much devastation in California as we're seeing now because of what we have.
Well, that was a very valid point, man. There was a time when people not only feared the government, even more so, they respected them.
That's more of that than I think than fear. I think it was more of a respect thing.
And I guess my comment now would be, there's no other way to put it than bluntly, if you respect these fuckers now, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
There's no other good way to put it. I mean, they are not looking out for your best interests on any level. So those days are over.
Yeah, because now I can see it's more of a fear thing, because we don't know, but we all know. Follow that. We don't know, but we all know the shit's going on that we're not aware of, because they're not telling us. Because if we knew, it's kind of like aliens and UFOs and shit. Why all of a sudden in the last 24 months is the alien knowledge vastly spreading across the world?
All of a sudden again.
Right,
Sure.
well, because we as a society can handle it. Why? Because all the social media shit that we see, it's dumbed us down.
Right.
Like it's created.
Well, it's not only done that, it's even done one thing more important than that. And we talked about it last week. There's one advantage to the human population having a 15-second attention span.
Right.
You are being inundated with information on a level that is unprecedented in human history on a minute-by-minute basis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So it just proves your theory in that, yeah, as a human race, we are more capable of not being terrified by the existence of another entity, right?
Yes.
There was a time in history where 100%, we all remember the famous War of the Worlds story where, people went fucking crazy thinking that was all real. And those people were just ignorant at that time. It doesn't mean they were stupid. It just means they were not armed with the same information that people are armed with today.
And the other part of it too is what I was trying to say was we're desensitized.
Yes, that's it.
Right?
That's the word.
Desensitized because back when ISIS was huge, Jake was young. Okay, when ISIS was doing this shit and 9/11 happened, all that kind of jazz. Right? It was Jake Googled ISIS one time, and he freaked the fuck out. And I'm like, dude, what are you freaking out about? And he's like, okay, I forget the whole verbatim thing, but he was afraid to tell me, like, dude, fucking what? I was thinking he's Googling porn, right? Well, he Googled ISIS because he was curious about it, and fucking YouTube popped up a video where like legit, he watched an ISIS guy walk up to whoever they had on their knees and just fucking chop his head off.
Oh yeah, I've seen those videos myself.
Right. So, but when he was 10 years old in 2011, right? Because he was born in 2001. He's 20. Yeah. So he was 10 years old. So that, obviously it shook him because.
Absolutely.
I mean, he wasn't like me when I was 7. I went to a drive-through with Brian Zalesko and his older brother and date. We saw a triple feature of a Bloody Mary Massacre, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the Black Widow Killer. Okay. I was fucking 7. Right. And I watched them all. So I desensitized myself way fucking early, but that's the problem. So I think that's why the alien relevance now isn't what it was when we were kids, because nobody gives a fuck, because it's just, yeah, okay.
Well, and it's not just that they don't give a fuck. It's that the fact that if you haven't been living under a rock for the last 50 years, the chances of us being the only intelligent life in a galaxy that is this fucking massive,
right,
are about 0.
Yeah.
Unless you're a hardcore Christian where you believe that the earth is 6,000 years old and that whole story, and that's fine. If that's what you believe, that's fine. But then you definitely don't believe in science, because it's a big universe.
It is a big universe. Lots and lots of stars. Little man's favorite planet is Saturn because of the rings.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just saw a meme on Facebook that said how long you would live on every planet without a spacesuit.
Yeah.
For some reason, you would survive for 2 minutes on Mercury. Every other one, it's like 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 8 seconds. But on Mercury, you could make it a whole 2 minutes.
That's interesting.
Which I'm guessing would be an agonizing 2 fucking minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I got distracted.
You're fine.
Squirrel.
I don't have a counter or anything. This has actually been such a liberating podcast. I'm just like, what did you say in the beginning? One of your first shorts that you put up? I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm just here for a good time.
Yeah. So, so speaking of shorts, I put up a short on one of my social media platforms, and it was funny because it's 15 seconds long.
Okay.
Micah and I talked about this, but I'm gonna share it with you, the world. It's 15 seconds long. 15 seconds long, and it had 548 views in like no time. The analytics of it was that in those, it was 548 people had watched it. 94% of them didn't make it to the end.
94% didn't make it to the end.
Did not make it to the end. It's 15 seconds long, America, and you could only manage 13 seconds. And it was a very informative 15 seconds. Like I squeezed like just the perfect amount of information in this thing. It was on point. It was direct. It was concise. Call to action. 15 seconds.
And if you missed the last 3 seconds, I bet you missed the whole point of the short.
Yeah, exactly. Fuckers.
Yeah. Well, that's their loss.
It is their loss because, come on, man. It's 15 seconds.
And that's why
15 seconds.
You'll never not get me on that one. That's why I find
Yeah.
it so fascinating, because to the people who are listening to this podcast right now, you are literally listening to two guys who Chris had just took on a book that's 13 hours long.
Yep.
I will listen to a 9-part series that's 4 hours long, each one of them on Genghis Khan, or the building of the Great Wall, or, something that takes me a month to listen to.
Sure.
But I love shit like that because that's how you grow and you learn as a person,
Agreed. Absolutely.
I remember my mom saying a long time ago, I was probably acting like I knew everything or whatever. And she just simply said one thing. She was like, you don't know everything. And what fun would it be if you did?
Right.
I've thought about that my entire life. It's like, you know what? I'm not sure there was a truer statement that was ever made, because life would suck if you knew everything.
Yeah, it would. Agreed. Because what do you have to do then? You're stagnant.
Yeah, unless you're the most pretentious asshole on the fucking planet,
Right.
That would be like an uber pretentious asshole. Ooh, I know everything.
Exactly.
Because to me, most of the fun of life is learning. Hey, I learned 2 new things today or whatever. Fascinating.
Sorry, distracted again. I got a text. I should probably wrap this up. We've been going an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know where we were at. So,
Hour and a half,
you're in
man.
charge, brother.
Let me answer this question, then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, let me see if... I do have one good quote that
bring
I
it on,
saved
man.
last night
Bring it
from the
on.
great and mighty Jimmy Page.
Yep.
I'm adopting this into my own repertoire.
Okay.
I may not believe in myself, but I believe in what I'm doing.
I like that.
I did too. I thought that's fucking brilliant. I didn't even have to think about it, and neither did you.
No.
But for the folks at home, if you didn't pick up on that right away, just think about it for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, moment of silence.
Yeah.
If I don't believe in myself,
I may
at
not
least
believe in
believe
myself, but I believe in what I am doing.
That's
It's very poignant to you and I because
Yeah.
we're involved in creative projects. So, there were times in the band where I was super unsure of myself as a player, but I was never unsure about what we were doing. So I totally understand what he's saying.
yeah, dude. From the lead singer standpoint, that's daily.
Yeah.
That's a daily occurrence, because if the band succeeds or fails from the singer, I mean, it's fucked up as it is. It's a true statement. If your singers, like all the better. Okay, we talked about that local band, that the vocalist, the female chick. Right away, she had my respect because she was a female.
Sure.
Right, because it's females a dime. They're not a dime a dozen when it comes to rock and roll. And she blew the previous band out of the water that were in their 50s to 60s, because just for the sheer fact of her stage presence and charisma and knowing and owning that space. When I was acting, one of the things I learned about acting was when you find your spot, right? And you're not locked in that spot, but you have a gold thread from your toes to the top of your head coming out of your head, keeping you in that spot, so you don't do this
right
all the time. You don't, so you find your spot and you own it, and then you're there. But that was the brilliance of her as a performer. It was just still disheartening that the sound check was bad, which, by the way, I messaged them on Instagram and I gave them props for the show that said their sound sucked because you couldn't. And I don't know who responded, but one of them responded, well, it wasn't our fault, man, because it's the Marquee Theater, and it's just lineup after lineup after gig, person after person. It was just they didn't do, but no, because I was there. You went to the microphone and said, check, 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 check.
That's the problem, is you were there.
Right. So, and I told them I was there. Like, I caught your show, and I was there.
Well, that's their youth coming through.
Right. And I said it would have been so much better if we could actually hear and understand the lead singer like we can on your YouTube channel, because you missed the opportunity to grab some more fans because there's no sound check.
Right.
And that was the response. Well, it's marquee theater. They just didn't do sound checks. Well, they did. You just didn't do it the way you should. And I didn't respond back because I wasn't going to be that guy. Well, if you really want to know, I'll tell you. All right, boys and girls. I'm Chris Dunham. He's Mike Michaels. This is the Chris and Mike Show. And, I hope you enjoyed our thing today.
Don't let the bad days win, people.
Don't let the bad days win. And no, the world is not going to come to an end because Trump is being moved into office. So just fucking relax, everybody. Take a deep breath.
One day at a time. Can't we all just get along?
The famous words of a coke addict who was resisting arrest and got his ass beat and got money for it and still died of an overdose, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but, so everybody have a great, this is a Friday. We recorded this on Friday, so everybody have a great weekend. And,
You too, brother.
Stay warm regardless of where you are.
I got to go shovel snow.
Use your leaf blower, man.
I'm going to. I got to go
leaf
blow
blower.
snow.
Because my neighbors, they mailed their piles, right? And all that shit blew in my driveway. It's my driveway, not my yard. If it was my yard, I wouldn't care. But my driveway is, I have a 6-car, it's basically a 6-car width driveway. And it all collects in the corner. So now I got to go before little man comes home and blow all that shit back out of my driveway, back into their yard.
I'm going to try that too.
Yeah, try your leaf blower, man. Let me know how it works.
All right.
All right. See you later, man. Peace
Love
out.
you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Don't forget to hit stop.
I won't.
Later.
Where do I hit stop at? Stop, stop, stop.